Seeing how many books or movies regarding zombies I consumed, I gotta ask myself, what would my survival chances be? Say 28 days later, dead on the first day. Walking Dead? Probably a bit better unless you run into the wrong person, a live person. This book, not good. Dead sooner than the protagonist, for certain. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kat and today I would like to talk about two books actually. Both Dread Nation and Deathless Divide by Justina Ireland. Because I read the first one and it was so good that I had to add the second one straight away. I will try to keep the spoilers to an absolute minimum. Well, especially for the second, but in general as well. In Dread Nation, Jane McKean attends Miss Preston's School of Combat for Negro Girls in Baltimore, where she is trained in both combat and etiquette to become an attendant, a protector for the wealthy, against the shambling and sometimes running dead. But when a friend's sister and her family go missing, Jane investigates and interferes with the politician's scheme. Carted off to the west, Jane has to use all of her abilities and all of her cunning to come out on top and stay alive. I want to start off with the world building this time. It plays around 1880. If there is a precise year given, then I don't remember it, but Jane is born around the Battle of Gettysburg, and it plays when she's a teenager. I'm not sure, she could be anything from 16 to 18, or I don't know. So I'm guessing 1880. Oh, as you can guess from the year, white supremacy is rampant, and you even get a scientist explaining to people in an audience at some point why black people should be beneath white or whatever, but it's okay. Jane has something to say about it, and the scientist dies soon after and nobody misses him. And he really had it coming, not just for the biology part because that was complete bullshit, but for other things as well. He doesn't live long. Jane really can't go anywhere without racism bearing down on her in one way or another. Yeah, and it gets you frustrated while reading as well. Even though Jane has really thick skin, I have to say, and uses the prejudice shown against her to her advantage more than once, still, it was uncomfortable to read so much stupidity. Both Baltimore and the West feel pretty real, and the fortifications they have built against the undead, or as they call them in the book, the shamblers, makes sense. And even as the hubris of a few caused the downfall of many, it feels real. And you only have to look at the news these days to see just how rampant stupidity can be. The best part about both books are easily the characters. I love Jane. She is stubborn, petty, she lies, she steals, and she knows most of these things about herself as well, that she can be petty as hell. But I love her anyway. It's all because the world doesn't really give her a choice or much of an option, and she just rolls with it for the most part and takes a stand when she has to, and when lying and stealing doesn't get her further than taking a stand. Yeah, she grew on me quickly, and I really loved watching a friendship with a character that she despises at the beginning develop. Yeah, there's a lot of tension between these two characters to begin with, but you know, they come to like each other, they come to depend on each other, and it was really a great friendship to read. All the allies that Jane makes are quite likable as well, even though she paints them a bit worse than they actually are in some cases, because Jane holds a grudge. I don't want to go into too much detail about Jackson, Catherine, Lily, Miss Duncan, etc., because I think it would take away from the story. Like, all side characters, even the ones that are bordering on flat because they don't get much screen time or much time on the page to actually develop all that much, most of them just feel real and say, yeah, okay, this is an asshole I can actually imagine walking around, unfortunately. Jane lives by the mantra, sometimes you have to live down to people's expectations, and she does it a couple of times when people consider her a lot less intelligent than she actually is. And all because it's exclusively white dudes doing that, I think. But whenever they do it and she plays dumb, they all just fall for it, and you're just like, how can you really think that any other person is this stupid? It's baffling. But she makes it work. Jane's tendency to lie or prettify certain circumstances also comes through in the beginning of each chapter, where she writes letters to her mom, and you can see snippets of it. Despite knowing, or rather strongly assuming, that Jane would be okay by the end of this book, the finale had me in its grip, and I was really concerned and worried about Jane and her group of friends. Jane also drops you quite the bomb of information at the end. Like, you think you know what's going on, or you think you see through her, to a certain degree at least, and then she just drops this tidbit of information, and you're just like, oh my. It's not like it's out of character or anything, it's just like, oh, I thought I had you figured out. Guess I was wrong. I think I managed to keep all of the spoilers out of this. So I just have to say this is one of the best books I read in 2020, and I've already gone through the sequel as well. I will try to say a few things about it without spoiling anything. In Deathless Divide, Justina Ireland adds another POV, and the differences you can tell in the voice, straight off both from the chapter beginnings and from the way these two characters talk, is just great. There's a time jump about halfway through the book, and even the snippets you get at the chapter openings, like what used to be letters to Jane's mom in the first book, are somewhat different things here, and even there you can see what the characters went through in the time jump and how their take on things changed. The sequel also throws you a curveball. Like, I did not see it coming. I was like, no, you can't, you wouldn't. Oh damn, you did? Okay, wow. I think the only negative thing I can possibly say for this is it read more like one bigger book split into two, more so than in your average series. Like, for this one you really want to start reading Deathless Divide as soon as possible after Dread Nation. It's not quite as closed off a story as in other series you might read. Yeah, but overall, since it's one of the best books of 2020 for me, it deserves this cat, and I hope you pick it up. If you like zombies, if you like strong female leads, if you like interesting characters, then this is the book for you. Let me know in the comments how long you think he would survive in any given zombie apocalypse. Like I said, I think 28 days later, I'm dead in the first day. These shamblers, I'm probably dead pretty soon as well. I think like Walking Dead is the only one where I stand a chance. And even that is very questionable. Oh, thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to help this channel out, and I'll be back next week with another video. Bye guys!